purpose of limited business? And, does that use fit in with it? Um, and I don't know that any of us really know what the intention of having the limited business was. Pam, maybe you've seen something in our documents that sort of talk about it.
I mean,
Um,
I can only assume that it's supposed to be a lighter use and almost transitional from the business district to the residential.
yeah. Um, I mean, 'cause we have a lot of random things in there, so I guess you could make the case that this also fits in there. I mean, a bank is in there, um, medical office building. So I mean, that was my only concern was, does it look weird if we have this one outlier in there because one specific, uh, you know, developer wanted that use. So I mean, I'm not strongly opposed to it, but I'm not strongly in favor of it either, I guess. So sorry to be wishy-washy about it.
I honestly think I'm in the same boat as well. I think there are on my list there are some other better uses for that land than a self-storage facility. Um, but if that's the only thing that will, move the needle on getting that property sold and used, um, you know, then I guess it makes sense to consider it. But I do feel like it is a little bit out of place in limited business as well.
Yeah.
Pam, I've certainly seen these tables and all the zoning and so forth, but I don't have a sense at all of the original, dare I say, legislative process that occurred back in the 1950s when zoning was put in place, and whether there is a document somewhere that lays out what the intent was with the various zoning uses and districts within Bolton and elsewhere. I'm sure there's consistency at that point throughout the state. Are you aware of that?
No, I'm not aware of any document like that.
There must be a document somewhere in which the town agreed to this zoning at the very beginning. When was zoning actually implemented under Massachusetts law?
I don't know the exact year, and it's different for each community.
Right.
It wasn't it each and there was enabling legislation that then allowed communities to adopt bylaws, and each community did that at a different time.
Okay.
Well,
Well,
one
if
other
you
thing to,
go
oh,
ahead, Mike.
sorry, I was say one other thing to consider was that, you know, realistically, if we were going to add this to limited business, we really should add it to business as well. So self-storage
Mhm.
is not a allowed use in business. And presumably anything that is in limited business should also be in business, but not vice versa.
Right.
Is it by special permit in industrial right now? Is that the fourth column there?
Yes, I
Yeah.
can.
Yeah.
Sorry.
Yep.
Yes.
That feels like the right fit to me personally.
Yeah, I agree with you on that.
Yeah.
But a couple of questions, Pam. If you get a chance, if you can look into, I'm not sure how you would do this, into the original planning board and the document that established the location and types of zoning within the town. And then the second thing that came up in the last meeting, to Eric's point, was, well, what would we see for a building of this size, 3 stories high, um, in terms of contribution to taxes in Bolton? Were you
Yeah,
able to
we
get anything?
yeah, we I had those figures last time. It's about $65,000 for a 60,000 square foot building.
Okay.
Being a Sugar Road resident, again, I'm not in favor of it, nor I'm not against it. I understand the wishy-washy of it, but I would if they were to purchase it, would they be allowed to put a billboard on site?
No.
Okay.
No, and that was basically the direction of my questioning. Yeah, they're looking for great visibility from 495. Well, is a building enough visibility, or what are you thinking about beyond the building? And
That's what I mean, to generate revenue. Would they be able to put a billboard on there, whether it be electronic? Then you got this neon thing, or whatever LED thing, and that whole area. It's just, what do you put in there?
The sign bylaw would apply, so they would have to get waivers and special permissions from the select board for any exemptions from the bylaw.
which
Yeah,
means
basically-
lighting and size.
It also seemed like the developer was pretty, interested in making the facility look like it fit in town. So he seemed amenable to, to not doing things like that.
Well,
For what it's worth.
To help my ignorance maybe a little bit on the special permit, is the board allowed to, reject for any reason with a special permit, or is it limited to certain reasons? Or is it just really anything?
It's discretionary special permit, so you'd have to have, you can deny it and there's should be standing on it, but there have to be a reason. Like a negative effect to the neighborhood, or it can be kind of,
It could be as little as
Architectural.
you don't like the design of the building, right? Or no?
if we don't have design standards, then no.
Okay.
Yeah.
We do have design standards then, so that would be a reason, but I think that would be something that could come to a resolution and not just a denial, if that makes sense.
Yeah, yeah.
But, if it's financially of great advantage to a developer to do that, and we do get into that situation, potentially we're walking right into litigation.
Mhm.
And that's really not what I want to get into. Kind of set the rules of the game pretty clearly in the beginning.
Yep, that makes sense.
Yeah.
I'm
I think
spending too much time on the law committee lately.
To me, I agree with the group. I mean, it seems like most folks are thinking the limited business is not really an appropriate place for them. And I think I agree. It seems like it's more industrial to me, especially with just like the way I envision it looking as a boxy warehouse looking structure.
Mhm.
So I guess I hear a consensus that at least at this point, we don't want to do it.
Yeah, I think I agree with Michael as well that if we were to do that, we'd also want to consider adding it to the business district to be consistent, right?
I think we have to.
Yeah.
Mhm.
And that really changes things. I mean, again, like I feel bad for the owner of Colonial Candies that they're having a hard time selling that. But yeah, I don't know. I mean, I suppose the only thing I would be, I may be in favor of having this be a separate amendment, and then we just put it to a vote to the town. And I mean, the board could vote again or vote however they want for the particular amendment. But I suppose if the board voted against it, the town would likely reject it. So I don't know. I mean, I just don't think that a self-storage facility fits into limited business.
Okay, so do we need to have a roll call vote to determine whether we're going to present this as an element of the article?
No, you don't. We're
It's
just
not,
reviewing.
it's not
the
in it
proposal.
now, right?
It's
So-
right. We never proposed it. We're just kind of discussing whether we should change what's proposed. So I don't think you need to do maybe a vote just to support it if you'd like, but I don't know that it's necessary
Well,
to
I
do
hear
roll
the
call.
consensus that we're not interested in doing it.
Mhm.
So can we leave it at that?
Yes.
Okay, so there wasn't anything else of any level of controversy or new in any of this beyond this, right?
No, not since the last meeting.
Right.
I know we discussed the like the recreational marijuana facility.
Mhm.
Are we treating that consistently with like a bar? And should we, or
I think we agreed to take that out because it's not
yeah,
something that we have to allow anywhere, so we just left it as is and it's not a permitted use.
got it, got it. That makes sense.
I
Okay,
mean, so does anyone have ideas on what should go in there, or like what we can help them out a little bit more, give more guidance on what the board is thinking?
It's really anything on that limited business column
yeah,
there is allowed. Um,
Isn't a ton of things, but it's not nothing either. Um, I mean, I think we would get a lot of pushback from town if we had a storage facility there.
I agree.
yes. As a resident, I have to think differently than as a board member, and I would oppose it as a resident.
would
And
that
again,
be,
oh, go ahead. Sorry.
I was just going to say, would that be a terrible place to have a child care center?
No, I think that would,
No.
yeah.
That fits into limited business. It's something that I think, would be used by people who lived in town. It's it's halfway between residential and business. So the structure of the building would largely remain the same, would look the same.
Mhm.
Has the parking for it. It's not ideal.
Smells like chocolate.
Highway. It smells like chocolate.
And I assume that there will be an increasing demand for that.
hmm And I happen to know the owner of the childcare place that I sent my kids in Marlboro for many years. They were looking to expand into Bolton. Pam, I think they might have talked to you at some point a couple years ago. Nope. Okay.
I don't
Um,
recall it, no.
she said she spoke to some a town administration to figure out if there was one or two pieces of land that she could use for that. Um, I kind of wonder if maybe this is something that we could kind of solicit uh, local business owners if that would be something they're interested in.
No, I think that's a great idea. And again, with 580 Main Street across the street, um, I think probably there would be a fairly healthy demand throughout Bolton. I mean, there are others like Frank Chiodo that have seriously considered that because of the demand.
Mhm.
So, I mean, if you're interested in making that connection, I think it's a proactive approach to planning.
Sure, I could definitely do that.
Okay, anything else? Do we need to formally vote on?
No, it's scheduled for a public hearing on March 11th, so we can take our
Okay, after that.
formal
Great.
votes then.
Okay. Okay, shall we move on to driveways? One of my favorite topics. And everybody's seen this. This is essentially what we talked about before.
Yeah, I
Um,
haven't changed any of the
right.
bylaws,
And
other than what we talked about at the last meeting.
the
I saw
concern
you
that
had,
I had was drainage, and that can be handled through the application, as I understand it, Pam, right?
yes.
Okay, the one question I still have is what is meant by vehicle speed? Is that posted speed? Um, or is that something else?
I
Travel
assume that's
speed.
posted speed.
No,
And how does one determine that?
well, you couldn't without a traffic study, which isn't a easy requirement for um a driveway. What?
What happened?
I don't know.
Everyone do.
Yeah.
There we Mike, you were saying?
We do posted.
Well, I was saying that I mean that's got to be the posted speed, right? Like
Yeah, we can't. Yeah, we
it's
can't
limit of
plan for the
whatever the
worst.
road is.
That can't be planned for the worst case scenario. It has
No.
the posted speed, right?
Yeah. Regardless of what people actually drive at in this town.
Exactly.
I'll find out what it is for 25 miles per hour. I think it's slightly less, and we'll include that since it's a speed limit throughout town.
Yep.
And Pam, I just had a question on that last one about the waiver, just because it wasn't its own. It was 12, and the one above it was also 12. Was does that applies to everything in this document, correct?
Yes,
Okay.
I'll make that clear.
So throughout the town, with the exception of 111, 85, and 117, it would be 200. And then with the posted speed by the state in those numbered highways, it would be in accordance with the posting.
Yes.
Okay. Understand it.
Was there
Any other
anything else?
comments? I'm sorry. Go ahead.
I just asked if there was anything else.
Hey, Pam, a technical question. I downloaded all of these and decided to go back and make my comments, of which there were very few, on a couple of files that were .odt, and I couldn't get them to stick. I couldn't get the comments to stick, and I couldn't get them to change, and I had to change it to a Word file in order to do anything with it.
In the OneDrive, or
Yeah, what's an ODT file?
Isn't that like
it's just what
I think that's
OneDrive uses, I guess. I don't really know.
is that Microsoft proprietary or is that some open format? I thought it was like open document.
It's Microsoft, I
Okay.
believe. That's what it says when I sign in, Microsoft.
Got it.
Okay. Well, I
Um,
made the
they're-
changes and saved it in a docx file. It was fine.
they're not in here, or they are, where are they?
Well, when you download them, they appear in ODT files. If you go down a couple, you can see an ODT file.
Oh, you've downloaded it. Okay.
Yeah. Well, it's there. It's see the ODT file there? Major residential development.odt.
Okay. Okay.
Anyway, I was able to fix it, but I was kind of curious what it was. If you just change the suffix to file type, it saves fine.
So it works for doc, not ODT, or vice?
No, it works for docx,
Okay.
and it
Okay.
doesn't work for ODT.
Okay.
Anyway,
ODT stands for Open Document Text. It is the non-proprietary version of a Word doc, right?
okay.
It's it's the closest thing to the Microsoft Word, the docx format, but it's not proprietary.
Okay. And anyway,
It looks
it
like
seems to be.
you can comment on it, it looks like. So if you open that the major residential development, like I can add comments to that.
I wonder if you hadn't had the editing option on, Bob.
Yeah, I did.
You did?
Anyway, don't worry about it now. If Mike Gore can do it, it works. Okay, should we move on to home occupation? Let me just, I saved this offline. Let me take a look at the comments I had. Oh, okay, yeah. If you go back to the top, it talks about about family residence and the premises. Now, does a home occupation apply to any existing structure, unattached structure on the premises owned in a residential area?
Yes.
Okay.
There a definition for a contractor yard? I mean, the vehicle repair is pretty clear. Um, landscaping
We,
is pretty clear.
no, we don't have one.
Okay. Yeah.
I could be more descriptive. That's the only place it's that term's used, so I can be more descriptive in the item, in the exemption.
Yeah, I think it would be good. I imagine there's like a fair number of people in town who are, in construction and they have some equipment and they may run their business out of their home. So maybe just to be clear on that point.
Examples of what it is that we're not allowing.
Right.
And the next question I had was, are current uses that have not been specifically defined as not permitted grandfathered?
Current uses that are prohibited?
Yeah, that we're
Yes, they would
proposing.
be grandfathered, yes.
Okay. So as I was looking down Hudson Road, 85, I saw 3 residences that meet the criteria of being prohibited by this bylaw, but they can continue on.
They can, yes, but they
Okay.
can't expand upon the,
Okay. Well, with the exception of Adams Tree Service, they would be hard pressed to do so.
Would Myerson's fall into this?
I don't know what that is, I'm sorry.
Myerson's garage.
It's a garage on the border in Bolton on the border with I guess Hudson, the back end of the Highland Commons.
Okay, I thought that was a pre-existing non-conforming use and not a home occupation.
I think you're right with that.
Yeah,
Mhm.
Um, for businesses that have, one of the statements in there was the patrons coming in. I forget where it was. Enough parking for spaces for employees and for visitors or patrons in connection with the home occupation. I guess one of the things I was thinking that made me think of was just like the frequency of visitors. Like, is it a public? And is the business in the home intended for like public showroom or people coming in and out a lot? And I feel like that traffic, like if it's let's just say it's a candy store, and people are constantly coming in and out for that, would that not change the character of the neighborhood a little bit? I get that traffic, but
I don't think it's retail typically. I think it like an attorney's office.
so you're saying that would be retail and that would be
Well, we don't prohibit retail.
I feel like
Yeah, that's an interesting point. I mean,
I feel like would have like a long list of prohibited uses. Um, like when I think of this, I think of like a lawyer, an accountant, real estate agent who doesn't have people approaching the business that if they do, it's like once in a while. I just worry that, constant visits could become a problem. And I don't know that the patron visitation is well defined here, or could maybe use some more definition.
Mhm.
is there an accepted definition of home occupation?
No,
What I'm saying is would this hurt something like Myerson's Garage? Because I don't want that to happen.
no, that's not a home occupation, so this bylaw wouldn't be
Okay. All right.
applicable to that.
Alright.
This is just for accessory uses, and I'm not aware of any complaints we've had about you know, a home business, which is an accessory use that
Right.
people have complained about. So, I
Right.
mean, I understand, like we could list off everything we don't want to have, but at the same time, I don't think it's been an issue.
We've
You know,
gotten
most,
some complaints about
Vehicles with-
contractors, like the storage of commercial vehicles and equipment
Yeah.
outside exterior to a residential home is the complaints that I've mostly gotten since I've been here.
As long as I'm not hurting existing businesses.
Any other comments? I'm clearly going to have to get a quieter anvil. The noise issue.
Put a piece of rubber on it.
Oh, that'll be useful.
About 2 seconds.
Okay. Are we generally in agreement here? Okay, Pam, you want to move on?
Sure.
Major residential development? And this hasn't been changed since our last conversation?
No,
And the only issue was encouraging as opposed to requiring?
correct.
These things make sense. Yeah, in view of the fact that most of them have deferred to phosphors anyway, I think that probably would work. Do you want to go through the changes, anybody? I think we've all seen it, and Mike, you've seen it, Mike Gore, right?
Yeah, I mean, the only problem I had with it is because we have two sentences that are almost identical. It's like I would love to uh bold and capitalize the not, just so it's clear what we're doing, but I don't know if we do that. And
No, you can.
it's just when I first read it, I was like, what's the difference there? And it took me, 2 minutes before I was like, oh, not.
No,
But I
that's a
think
good point.
it's also just because there's strike through on it and whatever, and I was probably just not paying close enough attention, but just as long as it's clear.
Mhm.
Anybody else? Okay, should we move on to Moderator Way? What I want to do is move on beyond Moderator Way.
We don't have,
there-
I had the Main
yeah.
Street one in there that Eric asked to be added. We haven't looked at that yet, so.
Okay.
I have a quick question, and you can laugh at me, and I'll take the heat on it. The DPW, with I was thinking about Colonial Candies, that area. Has anyone ever thought or have thoughts on? And I know we talk about moving the DPW to open up that whole area, putting that DPW on Sugar Road.
Yeah, I've had more than a couple of conversations with Randy Hegland about that. And the overriding concern he has is that, quote, DPWs are not good neighbors. And to put them in a de facto residential area is probably not a good idea. And he
Okay.
had concluded that there is town-owned land to the south of the landfill that could accommodate an expanded DPW operation and have reasonable access without massive changes in the topography.
Okay. All right. Thank you. I was thinking about it. And I'm going, you know what? For the location of it and where it is and everything, I'm going. Is this something that I want to bring up? So thank you, Bob. Very
Well, the other thing that had been discussed probably 3 years ago as part of the discussion of the master plan was across 117 from Sugar Road, the land that slides back behind 580 Main Street,
Mhm.
and put it back there. And that's where the conversation started. Randy basically said, if you're going to be anywhere near housing or that kind of business, that's really not something that's going to work well.
All right. How to put it out there because
No, that's a
all my
good point. I mean,
You don't want the self-storage place, but you want the DPW on Sugar Road?
yeah. I mean, it's easier to get my sand there.
Yeah, he thinks he get the road plowed better off.
okay, Pam, you want to explain this? This came out of, actually, this is a pretty old issue. Eric had discussed this with me several years ago, and we agreed at the time that we would not pursue it until we had completed the master plan. And his issue was that it makes very little sense to have a zoning district of any kind that cuts up individual lots. And it makes much more sense to have a particular type of zoning for that is wholly within each individual lot. So Pam, you want to talk about this?
Yeah, this was proposed in 2019. I think there was a group of 5 proposed bylaw changes all lumped into one article.
Right.
And I think the Bolton Financial property was one that kind of tipped everyone's vote into not being in favor of supporting the article. So just because of the limited time, I pulled this one out. This is on Main Street. It covers Colonial Candies and the gas station. And the red box is our existing business zoning district. And then the proposal was to change the business lines in accordance with that thick red line to run along the property boundaries so you don't have split zones between business and residential to allow for more cohesive reuse of the properties.
But at the moment, this doesn't cover Colonial Candies, does it?
I mean, I'm sorry, did I say Colonial Candies? No, where Cultivate is and
About the country cupboard.
Country
Right.
Cupboard, yes,
Yeah.
sorry. I meant Country Cupboard, not
Quincy's.
Colonial Candies.
Should we include 4D71 instead of excluding it?
That was
Yeah.
something we should talk about. It's the same owner as 4D33 and 4D34 and 4D30. So this is one common property owner. And they own this property as well.
Is that Kane?
Yes, it's all Kane property.
I think it would be weird to have just that corner property not be included.
I agree.
Yeah. My only so there it's not really included in the business zoning district now, just this back tiny corner is. So I think that's why it was excluded, but I think it might be reasonable to incorporate it
Mhm.
into the
I mean-
business district. It is completely vacant property. There's no buildings on it.
I mean, Bob, this was the fight, 10 years ago, right? Or whatever it was about what would have been the market basket there
Yep.
was rezoning. I don't know if it was more than that, like if that included like 4D5 or anything else. But I mean that's changing or adding a lot more business zone right there, which I'm not necessarily against, but
Mhm.
if the
There is a
spirit of-
residential house at 4D6.
yes, I mean if the spirit of this is just to clean up the lot lines, I mean I guess there is a tiny sliver on 4D71 right now.
Isn't 4D32 also residential? In the bottom left.
Two. Oh,
And
That's the Boy Scout property.
oh, is it? Okay. I'm using it. So
would it be, just out of curiosity, would it be a roundup only, like a ceiling operation? If any part of the business district is in a parcel, that parcel could be eligible for inclusion, or is it a case by case basis? Or do we round up and round down?
Well, yeah, I think the basic premise that we discussed many years ago was let's be consistent with zoning and lot lines.
Mhm.
It was
And
pretty
that
much
makes, that makes sense, but is that typically how it is with other towns? Like the zones always follow the lot lines, or do they follow the potential usage of the land? Like fundamentally, that's my question, right? Is the business district that we have here, was it constructed prior to some of these lot lines and for other reasons? Is my question.
no,
More
I don't know what the
philosophical question, really.
Yeah, I mean, I don't know the answer to that. I mean, Eric it's too bad he's not here. Like, this is kind of his,
that was his business. Yeah.
yeah, this is one of his babies is it, I mean, from what we did a few years ago, the amendment that failed, it was just that it is uncommon to not have the entire lot fall into a single, zone,
Yeah.
right? Like it's weird to have half your lot business and half residential. So what do we do with that?
I think that makes sense, but I can think of a lot of counterexamples where just a piece of a large property is just not suitable for developing business for natural reasons, right? So I just worry that if we were to make these decisions, we just need to be careful, I think, when we include which lots are in there. We have to make sure that the whole use is suitable for that property, right? Um, I don't want to end up with these cases where, something is allowed and it squeaks in there, but it's really not,
Appropriate.
it's not appropriate, exactly. Naturally speaking, based on resources or based on other things.
I mean, I think what you'd be talking about in that case, and so the example would be like 4D33, whereas like if we zone the entire parcel as business, but that whole lower part is not suitable for, like, let's say it's all wetlands or it's all ledge or something like that.
Right.
But they could build a bigger footprint building on the usable part because the the formula we use is based on total lot size.
Correct. Yep.
So I think and I'm not necessarily against that because we have our lot coverage is as a percentage is pretty small anyway. Um, but again, I almost feel none of it. We should wait for Eric if we want to discuss having this in there. So,
I'm here. I'm here now. Sorry, I was
oh,
late.
we summoned Eric by talking about Main Street business zoning.
Yeah.
Eric, did you catch our conversation here?
Yeah, I'm not sure when it started, but so with the 20% coverage now, yeah, you remember when the whole market basket thing was coming in? And it was currently 8% at that point, and what they needed was 12%. So they were trying to get some of this back to be included in the business zone using 8%. So I think like 20% of this is a pretty big lot, so that's fine. I think the question is, and like on the other side of that line is the Boy Scout camp. So like right now that's kind of like landlocked residential land. So I think as a whole, this particular property, we got to think like, do we want it all to be business? Or I think when we did mixed use, we included this entire lot, mixed uses. So it makes use of the whole red outline. I mean,
Yeah,
for business,
Eric, it seems like we're kind of we're problem solving for this particular lot here based upon a previous conversation with a business. I think I just want to make sure that my point is clear that I think we should consider. I'm fine making the zones align with the property boundaries. I just want to make sure that we think about each property when we include it or exclude it from this kind of individually, if that makes sense.
Well,
well, we're talking about this property, so I don't really understand what you're saying, but like, I do think we should look at each lot in particular if we're just looking at fixing the lot lines. On this one, it's such a big lot. I mean, I think we shouldn't do anything without talking to Kathy Adams personally, the business owner, the landowner.
Sorry, can we hang on one second? So who is proposing that we do this? Was this you, Eric, or was this someone else?
Wait, are you just talking about the gas station? You're talking about the whole red outline?
We're talking the whole red outline.
I mean,
Agenda item is extension of business zoning district Main Street. So who asked for this to be included?
I don't think we were, I was kind of surprised to see it too, so.
We talked about it at the last meeting and you
We did.
asked to see if we could revisit changing the lot lines to go,
Oh, yeah,
change the
I
zoning
think Bob
districts
brought
to
it
go
up.
along the lot lines.
I
And
mean, I think, yeah, we were talking about like Bolton Woods Way and like this is one
Yeah.
of many.
That was the problem
Right.
when it went through the first place is we wanted too many properties to go into one line.
Yeah.
So if you worked on rather than 3 or 4 different areas working on this one, because Eric, I agree with you 110%. These should be plot lines and you know what they are. It's just we went on a too big of a chunk years ago.
Yeah.
And if we start with just that area, because I mean, Christ, how long was that? That was, I don't know, 8 years ago.
2019.
No, yeah.
Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah.
7 years. Okay,
Good
7
call.
years ago. Yeah.
So 7, 8 years ago, and now things are a lot different. And
Yeah.
if you break off
Yeah.
in that area that you want to develop.
I mean, so this lot in particular, Yeah, this lot in particular, I mean, if you're gonna develop anywhere, it's on 495, it should be
Yes.
causing,
Yes.
right? So,
Much
Whether
more
we want-
palatable than it was before.
right, so, and I think you can verify, Pam, but I'm pretty sure in the mixed use, we included the entire red outline zone for this property.
Yeah, I pulled it up. You did. Yep.
Yeah, so, So we
So
could-
how does that affect Country Cupboard? How does it affect
Country
that
Cupboard
whole
isn't in
area?
this lot line.
What's that?
Yes,
Yeah.
it's
Country Cupboard isn't in that lot line.
It's not.
it's
It's
I
on-
think this parcel.
Yeah.
It's one of these.
I'm sorry, I was confused what you were showing. So you were outlining multiple properties. Yeah, never mind.
Yeah, this wasn't
That's
just
what
the
made
one.
the
These
outline?
are.
Sorry.
I got you.
Well,
If we want more time we can
Yeah.
address more together.
So-
That's fine. I just was.
I think this is like a multi-month discussion, like to.
Yes,
Agreed.
it's too square. It has to be in what you're
Yeah, I
seeing
mean, it
years
definitely
ago.
needs, yeah, I mean, it definitely needs to be adjusted and maybe it is, the whole thing becomes business zone. And I think probably the town would be amenable to that, I think, in this particular area. But like, we definitely won't do it justice by gramming it in now, for sure, so.
And who mentioned that lot 71 was the same owner as 33 and 34?
I did.
Okay. Could we also discuss about that one as well? I think that was a good point.
30, but which one did you say? Lot one?
71, Eric, that's the one on the corner that.
Yeah.
goes on
Because-
175.
Yeah, if you remember, there was like a kind of development where that was gonna be like some housing, and then they were gonna have like some. Oh, no, it was, sorry, it was the
Yes. This was the storage
Warehouse.
warehouse.
yeah, the
Yeah.
distribution and storage warehouse.
But they
yeah,
were
and they
attached
were gonna-
55 plus community or something like that to it as well, I thought.
Yeah, exactly. I think 71 was going to be the senior living, and then the other part would be the storage facility, right?
Yes, that's correct.
Yeah.
Would be curious, like what parameters were used to size the red outline that as it stands currently. Like I could think of a few reasons, like you kind of brought it up, distance from residential or setbacks and other stuff that was really meant to limit where you could do it, rather than that might be the reason why it doesn't follow the lot lines perfectly,
Yeah.
because it's trying to give distance from residential properties.
So, I don't think there is any.
Personally, I
there-
think it'd be great for that whole corridor to be, that's a great place to get some more tax revenue from.
Yeah. I don't
But
think there is any.
I think we've got
residential
it-
right there.
I think 6 and 7 aren't they? Abutting lot 7.
Yeah, I mean, it's the other side. So, yeah, maybe 71 should be left residential, but, I actually had a question.
They're
So,
not gonna develop that.
what?
I don't think they're gonna develop that residential.
71?
Yeah,
I mean, they
It's,
could.
it's currently residential.
Mhm.
90% of it's residential.
is anything happening with that?
Not right now, but
No,
It's happening.
I think, I don't know who said it, but I think we have to step back and take a look at what the implications would be for the range of uses that an expanded zone would consider, and be very,
Yeah.
very careful, among other things, having just gone through the major issues and conversations with police chiefs. One of the major issues is traffic congestion. And let's think a lot about that. And if we expanded this area significantly, the storage and distribution center that had been proposed, as the developer said, could be doubled or tripled if he had that land behind it. Wow, do we really want that much additional traffic for a distribution center on 117?
right now, distribution centers aren't allowed on that property, right?
Yeah.
So
Or anything of that ilk? I mean,
it's not on the table of uses, but, if we're gonna make an impact, whatever impact business can make, this is the property to do it. You know,
It has a lot of
It's-
potential.
yeah. And if this whole thing was to be developed, I think part of the development would be to make the ramp drive right into it. You know, so you come off the highway at that exit and you drive right into that, you know, complex.
Yeah,
It's
that was
already
that
back.
was part of that proposal originally.
Yeah,
Yeah.
that's what they had proposed.
Right.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Maybe a
So
traffic circle too. I think there was maybe, or
Once-
I'm wondering if
That
it,
portion of 117 is jurisdictional under Mass DOT, so they wouldn't approve the curb cut for the proposed use without the consideration of a rotary.
No, it's 117 already backs up off that
yeah,
exit.
I mean, it's already backed up. I don't, I don't know. It is what it is.
In any
But I
case,
mean-
I don't think we have enough information or enough philosophical approach to doing this to make any headway tonight. And we have
Oh,
to
of course.
take
Of
a look
course.
at, but I think it's a good conversation. But I think we need to look at the parameters that affect and would be affected by changing the zoning type maybe, and certainly the zoning perimeter.
Yeah.
and-
The other thing I would want to understand is that land that's currently residential in the back of that lot that abuts the Boy Scout camp, like yeah, I'd like to understand that land. Like what, like is it wet or is it all ledge? Like how would that impact the land that abuts it? You know, I mean, there's just so much to discuss about the whole property.
Yeah,
So-
and Eric, and that's a good point, and I think we ought to address it the way we're addressing the intersection of Forbes and Main. You know, let's
Yeah.
get all the information
Yeah.
and then think it through, what the limitations are, what the potential access could be, types
Uh-huh.
of things that would impact it and be impacted by it.
Yeah.
You know,
Yeah, for sure. I mean, it's probably, I mean, I don't know if it's as big as that, what we're looking at there, but yeah, that's how we have to look at it. And it's
no, it's
nothing we
pretty
can do.
healthy.
Yeah. Yeah. So I think that's something we need to look at for the long term, that property. But in the short term, if you were looking at properties, it was like Bolton Woods Way, it was potentially the gas station property. That's a fairly minor one. But like I kind of threw it in the last couple weeks and so I know it's kind of ramrodding things in there at this point. So I don't know that we'll be able to get to do any of them at this point.
Well, let me ask, I'm not familiar with the whole Bolton Woods Way situation. Is that much more straightforward?
I mean, I personally think so because it's just the industrial zone overlap in the residential zone.
Yeah, but what's the purpose I mean, those are all pre-existing uses. There's no,
Yeah.
the land's developed, so it doesn't really.
I think that was
Make it
just
look
like
pretty.
that was just a paperwork cleanup, so it's like you said, it's already developed. Nothing's going to change. So
Yeah, I'll
I
show
think
you.
let's just
We can
forget
wait.
about.
I just advertised it because we ran out of time.
Yeah. I think we should forget about it for this year, but we should really look at it as a whole for the coming year.
Yeah, and I think it needs to be done in a broad perspective, a very holistic way
Yeah.
of understanding all the parameters.
Yep.
Okay,
This is the Bolton Woods Way one.
right.
Yep.
Let's,
I mean, and that really is just a cleanup, so.
yeah, and there was a certain amount of, again, I wasn't involved, enthusiasm on the part of the folks at Bolton Woods Way to have that become residential.
Well, there was one citizen that has an electrical or they did have a business in that area that we have to look at.
Are they still there?
I don't know. This was going
Yeah,
back
8 years
5
ago.
I'm pretty sure that they're probably still there.
And it probably is a home business. So
Yeah,
Yes.
home occupation.
yeah,
Solid.
I misspoke when I said there wasn't a definition in the zoning bylaw. There is for home occupation.
Oh, good.
It just says an occupation or profession engaged in within a dwelling or accessory building by a resident thereof as a use accessory thereto.
Yeah,
Okay.
they
So
were
it's
they
pretty
Very
broad.
useful.
they were concerned that they might lose it if, and it wasn't an issue at the time. They were not going to lose it.
Right. In any case, that is probably a simpler problem that could be addressed, and we can do it sequentially. But
I think,
focus.
I think what we should do, in the start of whatever our planning board year for town meeting 2027 is bring in Kathy Adams, bring in David Kane, whatever property owners are in there, and just like we did in Forbush Mill, and let's talk to them and see what they think. That's like the
Yeah.
first step.
So exactly. So let's understand what the land looks like, what the limitations are, what
Yep.
the implications are, and then actually get the people who own it involved.
But
Yeah,
they
exactly.
they, if I remember correctly, they couldn't do anything because the zoning wasn't right.
Yeah.
Well,
And-
they originally whatever 10, 15 years ago, they wanted the Market Basket Plaza. But it was only 8% coverage at that point, and they just had that red square.
Right.
And then more recently they had the warehouse, which I think as a board, we weren't enthusiastic about a warehouse right there. So we didn't change that bylaw. I think even before my time, and Bob might know this, I think maybe 15, 20 years ago, they were talking about a hotel there at some point or something.
Yes, they were. Yeah.
Yeah.
But they can't
So-
do anything if the lines aren't.
Yeah.
It's a rectangle. It's a rectangle.
Yeah.
And Eric, you're 100% correct with making the boundaries or the lines the way that they are.
Yeah.
We just have to start small. Just start small.
Yeah. Yeah. That's a big one. It's to be talking about this.
I know, but we went out with when I first got on the board, it was Boltonwood Way or the one across it, and everyone lost their mind. So, and I'm not going to
Anyway,
shoot.
but yeah, we're just like circling now. So, just let's make it a focus in the future.
Yeah,
Yeah.
that just focus on that one area.
Yep.
Yeah.
We should do
Okay.
it exactly the way we're in the process of doing and learning at the intersection of Forbush and Main.
Our first interaction with some of the property owners for the Forbush Mills area, did we connect with them before or after we did some of our due diligence with what could happen to that property? I'm just asking logistically, do we do some legwork and then reach out, or do
Yeah,
we
we definitely had legwork. We did like Pam kind of had that report written up and stuff.
Yep, exactly. So I didn't know if there was a
That
previous
was way
interaction.
after.
We did an inventory and then reached out to everyone on what what the reportings of what we found and the ideas that we had
Yep, makes
to move
sense.
forward
I think we should do that again.
in a very
Yep.
general kind of way.
Okay. Shall we move on?
Yes.
Was
Moderator
there no
Crowe.
update on the moderator way?
I didn't get the as-built. I have to I was out of the office last week. I have to check in with the engineer. The as-built, I was told the as-built would be done by the 20th, but they may be delayed. The work's done and the granite bounds are installed, so it was all surveyed. They just have to create the maps at this point, so that's what we're waiting on.
Okay, but we've got to have our recommendation in place fairly quickly, right?
We can put a
Placeholder
grade
in, but
acceptance article on there that's general and file the maps after, but yeah, we need to get the documents sooner rather than later.
okay. But basically that is, at this point, the goalpost, the as-built document and agreement by the engineer that it's done. And the legal negotiated truce is in place and everybody has agreed to that. So there's no issue in that area. So now it's a straightforward agree that it meets the requirements of the road per se in the as-built and recommendation to the selectmen and hence to the town meeting.
Yeah, this is a little unusual in that the town owns the property, so we don't have to be as strict as we typically would in terms of all the like the minuscule stuff being completed before
Right.
town meeting. We can do the detention ponds haven't been cleaned yet, and just due to the weather, I don't see it happening anytime soon. But that kind of stuff can be done after the fact since we already own the property, and there's not a real negative impact to us doing it after town meeting.
Right. And we just have to make very clear to town meeting that that is in fact the differentiating situation. We own it. Okay. Does that cover everything under one? I believe it does. Okay, approval of minutes. Did everybody take a look at the minutes of December 17th? I did. I thought they were fine. I had, as always, a few microscopic typo issues and sent them off to Pam.
We will make a motion to approve the planning board minutes from December 17th, 2025.
Seconded.
Robert Romer,
Aye.
Austin Groner, Michael Gore,
Aye.
Eric Nyland,
Aye.
Michael Lau.
Aye.
The minutes are approved by a vote of 5-0.
Do you guys, sorry, I was late. On the land use table stuff, did you discuss more about, the Colonial Candies property or no? Or is that what?
Yes, we did, and we agreed not to make any changes yet.
Okay, yeah, that was my thought too.
Okay. Thank you.
Good
I
job.
dropped a link into chat, which is I don't know if anyone saw this ad in the digital Bolton Independent, but so that someone is advertising for building ADUs on properties. So our zoning bylaw is having a commercial effect, which is good.
Yeah, yep.
Cool to see.
Having
So,
seen
well-
the real implications of doing one, I thought it was, we have some fairly significant structures, but it looks good.
It's a nice looking ADU.
Yeah, it really does.
I'm trying to wonder if that was the ADU or is that the regular one? That's bigger than my house, I think.
Yeah, no. And just as long as you're shorter than 6'9", you're in great shape.
But anyway, I thought that was interesting, so I wanted to share that.
Thank you.
Thanks.
Yeah, where'd you find that?
So in the Bolton Independent, it's now a digital only thing. But I think in the last issue, I saw that and I was like, oh, look at this.
Okay, any other business?
Austin, I'll just give you the first heads up. Our HPP contract is being finalized. It should be signed by the town administrator tomorrow.
Mhm.
And MAPC can attend a night meeting on March 10th. So that will likely be the first meeting of the Housing Production Planning Committee.
Fantastic. Thanks for the update. I'm back from travel on the 6th, so that works out perfectly.
Okay, good. The first one's going to be remote, so.
Okay.
Okay. Do I hear a motion to adjourn?
Motion to adjourn.
On a second.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Thank you, gentlemen.
Thank you.
And Pam.
Thanks, Pam.
Good
Good night,
night.
Thanks.
everyone.
Have a good night.
Bye.